This is Detroit's Morning Answer with John Anthony on FM 92.7 and AM 1400. The Answer.
California Governor Gavin Newsom is stepping into the Democratic Party's leadership void by taking a page from President Trump's playbook and acting like him. Newsom has used his office's press office account on X to mimic Trump's over-the-top social media posts by posting in all caps and using vocabulary like low energy. The governor has also posted a number of memes mocking the president. And the governor is not only using this language online.
He's a failed president. Who else sends ice same time having a conversation like this? Someone who's weak. Someone who's broken. Someone whose weakness is masquerading as strength.
On a substantive level, Newsom is seeking to challenge Trump and Republicans on their redistricting efforts in red states, pledging to fight fire with fire. The governor is pushing legislation that would set up a November 4th special election that would allow voters to weigh in on his congressional redistricting proposal. Newsom's aggressive approach comes as Democrats are still struggling to pick up the pieces from their widespread losses last cycle with no clear party leader. And it appears that Newsom is trying to fill that role. A Politico Citron Center Policy Lab poll released this week found that California Democrats favored Newsom over former Vice President Kamala Harris, who is also a California native.
I can't listen to any more of that. Welcome back to Detroit's Morning Answer with John Anthony. He's a failed president. You've been a failed governor for years. You know, today's guest is a man who has lived nearly every angle of conservative politics and media. Can't lose. Craig DeLuz is the founder of the Uncommon Sense Media Group and president and CEO of 2A News Corporation. He's also the spokesman for the California Republican Assembly, the Golden State's largest and fastest-growing Republican volunteer organization. For almost 30 years, Craig has been on the front lines of media, political advocacy, policy analyst, and grassroots activism. Excuse me. He's been the senior legislative advocate for the Firearms Policy Coalition, CEO of the Frederick Douglass Foundation of California, which I am a member of the Frederick Douglass Foundation of Illinois, and publisher of The Voice of North Sacramento. He served as editor of Red County, Sacramento, and even stepped in as interim executive director of the Women's Civic Improvement Club of Sacramento. What hasn't he done? Add to that, his time on the legislative staff of Assemblyman Kevin Jeffries and Tim Leslie, and you can see why Craig isn't just a commentator. He's a builder, a fighter, and a strategist who knows the inside game and the grassroots grind. And now Gavin Newsom is selling merchandise. He sold $100,000 of merchandise. It's a parody Trump merchandise in one day. You know, the media, they treat it as clever satire. But what does this really say about leadership, culture, and the future of American politics? Can't lose. Craig DeLuz, welcome to Detroit's Morning Answer.
Thank you so much. That was an awesome introduction. I hope I live up to it.
Now, Craig, $100,000 in one day in parody Trump merchandise. Does this, in your estimates, you've been around politics for quite some time, specifically California politics. Does this look like smart strategy or just a desperate gimmick from a failed governor with no real accomplishments to run on?
Well, I would consider saying both, largely because you have a situation where you have a Democratic Party that is wholly fractured. Their only thing that holds the Democratic Party together is their hatred of Donald Trump. Yeah. And so one of the things that Gavin Newsom is doing here is playing on that to bring both the progressive neo-Marxist wing of the party and the traditional liberal Democrats together in their hatred of Donald Trump. So it's a good strategy in terms of that.
Yeah.
But you are correct in that it distracts from what is ultimately the issue. Most of the reason why people are attracted to Donald Trump, in particular those who made the difference in helping him to get elected, is because of the failed policies of the Democratic Party. Yes. And the very fact that they stood right in front of us on national TV and lied to us about it. Well, the challenge that the challenge that he has right now is that he is the face of that. Gavin Newsom is the face of that. On every 80-20 issue, when I say 80-20, I mean the American public believe 80% of us believe one thing and 20% of us believe the other. The Democratic Party has chosen the 20% side of every single one of those issues. And Gavin Newsom, once again, has been the face of that here in California as he's pushed through all of these policies that the nation is rejecting. So, yes, it is an act of desperation, but also imitation is the most sincere form of desperation.
Now, I was watching the Cubs San Francisco game last night. You know how normally the television, they normally show outside shots of a ballpark, people coming in. They didn't do that at all and for the Cubs versus the San Francisco Giants. Why is that? Is it because right outside that ballpark, and there's a lot of homeless encampments? There are people who, and not just right outside, because I know they moved it, but is it because of the failed policy initiatives of this governor?
Well, in part, and remember, he used to be the mayor of San Francisco as well, but I digress. A lot of it is the failed policies. A lot of it is the fact they want to talk about how crime has gone down. But the challenge is that it's gone down from a 30-year high that was in 2023 that also was the result of their policies. It's kind of like saying, well, you know, I weighed 400 pounds. Now I weigh 395. My weight is going down. I do not have a weight problem.
I'm sorry. Now, you've run grassroots organizations. What would you tell volunteers on the ground? Ignore the stunt or leverage it to just show how much Democrats aren't serious?
I would say leverage it. I would let people know, look, I would focus back on the fact that, yes, Donald Trump is bombastic. Donald Trump is a salesman. He is the ringmaster of a three-ring circus. I will give you that. But the thing with his circus is there's substance there. There are policy success after policy success. He has had more success in the first 8 months of this term of his presidency than most presidents have had their entire 8 years or 4 years. So I would always go back and lean on the successes. And then I would encourage them to challenge folks like Gavin Newsom. Tell me what your successes are.
Yeah.
By the way, without lying, because he does do that.
Yeah. Now, Craig, you've been involved in politics for a very long time. Have you ever seen a party so broken? President Trump has broken this party in a way. I've been involved. I'm 49. I'll be 50 coming up. And I've been involved literally in politics in the state of Illinois since I was 5 years old. I don't think I've ever seen a party this broken. President Trump, when you look at how he's done it, he's gone after every single one of their sacred cows and he didn't just kick them over. He bulldozed them. Have you ever seen a party this broken? And I don't believe in giving advice to the Democrat Party, but what advice would you give to them to say, hey guys, you're losing it. Get it, fix this now. What advice would you give them?
Well, one of the things that I would focus on is first of all, Donald Trump is just the face of the modern movement away from the Democratic Party because he has done an excellent job of exposing their weaknesses. And their number one weakness is that there is a civil war right now within the Democratic Party. You've got the traditional Democrat who believes in the system. They believe in debate. They believe in putting ideas up for debate. They just dislike the ideas that Republicans put up. And there's a disagreement over the role that government should be playing in our lives. They believe more. Republicans believe less.
Yeah.
But they have partnered with, they call them progressives, but if you really understand the history of the progressive, like in the 1920s, we're talking neo-Marxists. We're talking about people who want to tear down the system, who aren't interested in debate. They're interested in silencing those who disagree with them. They're interested in tearing down every single institution that has made this country great because they believe that out of the ashes will rise like a phoenix, some new thing, even though it's never happened before. So my advice to Democrats would be the people that you're losing, the Matt Taibbis, the Glenn Greenwalds, the Joe Rogans, Bill Maher's, you're losing them because you are allowing these Marxists to take over your party.
Yeah.
And here's the deal. If they are ever successful in getting rid of conservatives, you liberals are next.
Yep. Well, they're already eating their own in a lot of the state houses right now. Have you seen that in California? That where the progressive left is just steamrolling or attempting to steamroll a lot of their moderate, because there's no such thing as blue Democrats anymore, or the Reagan Democrats. That they are completely gone. What are you seeing out there in California?
Oh, the craziest of policies have been coming out. I mean, I want you to think about this. The voters of California passed a piece of crime bill that would have reversed a measure that decriminalized a lot of crime.
Yeah.
It passed in every single county in the state of California, including San Francisco County, including Los Angeles County. And the governor and the California state legislature refused to fund it.
Wow. And the crime and the homelessness. And I mean, I've seen video after video of, I have experience with this because I have a lot of family members who were heroin addicts. The kickstand, I mean, but these people, when I'm seeing them, they're leaned over so far. I mean, you think they would fall, but they don't. I mean, is anybody in California? I know you guys have, I think she serves in the House. I forget her name, the minority leader. I think she's the minority leader in the House Republicans. She just came out and she was just she just blitzed Gavin Newsom. Is there any change, any hope for a turnaround in California?
Well, in just this last election, we saw 9 of our 52 counties, 52 or 58 counties. Anyway, 9 counties actually switched from blue to red. In every single county, there was a move towards Republicanism, both in registration and in terms of voting. We saw significant measures passed in almost every single county. So California voters, to a degree, are waking up, but they're not completely awake yet. And it's going to take, I think, having the eyes on the state of California during this special election can help make that happen. As we're looking to try and pass these new district lines, I think there's an opportunity. There's 2 different opportunities. One is that the eyes of the nation are going to be on Texas and California to see if we actually do wind up changing our redistricting and changing lines. But here's the thing that Democrats fail to understand. As they draw these districts to take what are right now safe Republican districts and turn them into competitive districts, they've got to take those Democratic voters that they're going to put in there. They got to take them from somewhere, which means they have to take them from their own safe Democratic districts, which means if the California Republican Party is sharp, if they're on it, this is an opportunity. This is an opportunity to take districts right now that are not competitive and make them competitive.
Yeah, but show me how. I mean, where does he have the constitutional power? Because I know they're trying to pass Proposition 50, but where does he be? Because it's in their law. It's not like what Texas is doing. It's not in their law that they can't change the map mid-district. California can't because it's in their constitution that they can't. Where does he get the power to do this?
Proposition 50 is a constitutional amendment. In California, we have made it. Amending the Constitution is as easy as passing a statewide piece of legislation. Unfortunately, where a Constitution is supposed to be a set of bedrock principles, it's nothing but a higher standard for passing a law in the state of California. It is still mob rule, and it is incredibly easy. Well, I guess as easy as passing a law in California can be. It is still possible, and all they're really doing is amending the Constitution to allow this exception.
Wow. Do you see this as part of Newsom's 2028 audition for the White House? And if you do, if so, should Republicans start treating him as a national figure now?
Oh, most definitely. When you are the governor of the largest, and by the way, one of the most failed states in the nation, you are a leader within your party. I'm hoping that this is the case. Now, let me tell you, when it comes to retail politics, when it comes to trolling, Gavin Newsom is a master. When it comes to actually passing policy that works, he is an utter failure. One of his biggest tactics is he's going to say, I'm going to do my plan is going to solve everything in the next 10 years.
Yeah.
The problem is that he's usually gone in 4 to 8 years.
Wow.
So he's never held accountable for his failures. Back in 2000 and I want to say 10, he had a 10-year plan to end homelessness in San Francisco.
Well, that didn't work. Now, Craig DeLuz, you once led the Frederick Douglass Foundation of California. When you look at it, what lessons from Douglas' message of liberty and responsibility apply to this shallow moment and to this individual called Gavin Newsom?
Well, I think you just hit it. You just hit the nail on the head right there. With individual rights come individual responsibility. The great thing about being here in the United States of America is that you are the captain of your ship. You are the master of your fate. People are coming here from all over the world. People are being born here in all different sorts of situations, and becoming whatever they dream, because they realize that if I am creative enough, if I work hard enough, I can have the American dream. And all I need my government to do is to make sure that we are safe, that I am safe, and to get out of my way.
Yeah.
And I think the more we do that, the states that live by that, the communities that operate based on that, those are the ones that are thriving. And the ones that don't, those are the ones, that are run by those in the Democratic Party.
I look at how Trump won, how the different coalitions he built, and I look across and I say to myself, can J.D. Vance or Marco Rubio, who's out there that can continue this America First, Make America Great agenda? Because I think when you look at the grassroots leaders, are they prepared to answer this new culture-driven style of politics, or are we still playing catch-up?
I think that Marco Rubio and J.D. Vance have learned from Donald Trump about the idea of being a disruptor with the establishment. I think the guys like Ron DeSantis understand that. I think there are a lot of people still in the administration who are they're operating based on the courage and the gall that Donald Trump has. But I do think you're seeing leaders within the Republican Party step up and take on the establishment. And by the way, that's our thing. Is our thing within the Republican Party is we've got to battle these establishment Republicans, the ones who just being in office is just enough. Being in control is just enough. And we've got to work to take them out, very much the way those on the left need to take out the neo-Marxists.
You run the Uncommon Sense Media Group. You're the president and CEO of 2A News Corporation. Those are important battles, and I don't think people understand it. But I love this California Republican Assembly. Do tell, what's the mission and vision of this California Republican Assembly?
So the California Republican Assembly started in 1935, and its mission has been to elect conservatives, grassroots conservatives at all level of government, from school board all the way up to President of the United States. It's an organization that Ronald Reagan once referred to as the conscience of the Republican Party. Here in California these days, I like to call it the Republican wing of the Republican Party.
I'm sorry. I love that. I definitely love that. Have you guys had anybody that's I know because California helped Mike Johnson Kevin McCarthy become speaker. Are you guys ready to defend a lot of those seats coming up in the midterm?
Definitely are. We are, like I said, CRA is the largest and fastest growing grassroots organization in the state of California. We have volunteers on the ground. We have folks who believe in phone banking, who believe in knocking on doors, who believe in hosting home fundraisers and meeting events. We still do the old school grassroots. My job within the organization is I'm the air war to their ground war. My job is to make sure that I am everywhere online, that we are everywhere online, that we are promoting the candidates that actually stand for Republican values, which I happen to believe are also American values.
Yeah, the three-headed juggernaut as it relates to liberalism and progressivism. California, New York, and Illinois. If we change California, if California ever decides to go back to its roots and become a powerhouse, a true powerhouse, what does that say for the nation?
I think the Democrats will be in the minority for a significant amount of time, both in Congress, and they'll be out of the White House. They'll be out of power if California were to even become competitive again. If California were a purple state once again, Democrats would not have a stronghold on this country the way they seem to in so many areas.
Craig DeLuz, I am going to lock your contact information in because you've been a wonderful person to interview. Thank you so much for joining us on Detroit's Morning Answer today.
Appreciate you, brother.
All right. That's Craig. That can't lose. Craig DeLuz. He's the founder of the Uncommon Sense. I heard you say that. So he's the founder of the Uncommon Sense Media Group and president and CEO of Two-Way News Corporation. He's also the spokesman for the California Republican Assembly, the Golden State's largest and fastest growing Republican volunteer organization. Man, we need somebody like Craig DeLuz in Michigan and in Illinois. You're listening to Detroit's Morning Answer, guys. Don't go anywhere. Paul, wasn't that a good conversation with him? That guy is, sharp. But can you imagine California going red? Electing a true Republican, conservative Republican governor? And they maintain the House and the Senate? Game changer. We'll be right back.